Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central Spotlight. I am Gil Ingles, and with me in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, today she's an author, an artist, an MC, and I mean MC. She can definitely rock the crowd. Spoken word artist, writer, producer. Richelle Gemini is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Diaspora, stand up.
Hey, stand up.
We have royalty in the building.
Talk about it.
Welcome, Queen.
Thank you for that beautiful
Indeed, indeed. It's a pleasure to finally have you here.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Indeed, long time coming.
Yeah, divine time.
Always. Yeah. But welcome.
Yeah.
Grammy nominations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not, well, I can't say that I did not see that coming because I have been a part of the Texas Grammy chapter now since 2021.
Right.
And they brought me in for spoken word and poetry.
Right.
So I have been focused on creating poetry albums, getting other poets to create poetry albums, especially those in the South, because we have so many great poets in Houston, in Texas, that I feel like a lot of poets have learned how to get features. One, that's like one of our ways to get shows.
Yeah.
Two, write books, of course. And now it's like, where are your albums at?
There you
like,
go.
People want to listen to them,
Exactly.
And that's where my mindset had been. So I had actually entered in my poetry album last year, which is Conversation with a Gemini, for your consideration with the Grammys. So it went through that, and also I kind of forgot for a little second, because as you're watching the nominations come out, you're seeing like spoken word, this person, you see all the people, and then you don't see your name, and you're like, I thought I was, But me and my son were also on a children's album, Uncle Jumbo, and it's called Taste the Sky, and the artist is Uncle Jumbo. And me and my son, I got asked to do this album about a year and a half ago, and I did not know where it was gonna go. I was just like, oh, for the children.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all want me to get on the children's album? Okay. Right. And I get on the children's album, and I was just like, oh, my son probably would be really good at this. And he said he was looking for another artist. I didn't know he was looking for another artist to get on that song. Yeah. But I was like, let's turn in your verse too and see, if he likes it or whatever.
There you go.
And we turned it in, and he was just like, This is my favorite song. And now that song is doing so good. It's on Sirius XM on the children's station.
Nice.
Consistent rotation.
Nice.
And I was just like, look, it'll just come out of nowhere. When you're on your path, sometimes whenever you still do things that are aligned on your path, it'll bring you even more things that you didn't even know was about to come.
Indeed. So now we need to add manager. To that title.
Right.
Yeah. Agent also, because you actually found the talent and then you pitched the talent.
Oh, yeah, my son.
Yeah.
But, I'm still in developing mode with him.
It's so good.
Too, because, children in this industry, I don't want to have to fight nobody. Because my children are handsome, and,
That's a momager now.
Yeah. And, I would actually have a manager for him, because I know me, I need to be managed myself, and I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. Right. So I know how to be a mother, but management, it takes a whole nother mindset.
Indeed. Yeah, and that in itself is actually a good way of identifying leadership. That means that you are a very good leader because you understand your weaknesses and your strengths, and you know where to employ people.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we do here at Diaspora Central, we actually do spotlights on individuals such as yourself that actually do and put in the work, the ones that make the diaspora as great as it is, right? Because a lot of times we don't know who's actually doing the work,
right?
Because we become so overloaded with the loud ones, right, that we don't hear the ones who actually are putting in work because they quietly doing it.
Facts.
Right?
I get told this a lot.
Indeed.
They tell me that, or they'll be like, "Oh, you're being too modest, or you're too this, or you're down to earth." And I'm just like, we're all on earth,
right?
I was just like, and I don't feel like screaming all day, or feel like hitting you all day with it. But you're gonna see the art. You're gonna see the movement, because you don't have to yell. And I come from a family like that. Like the loudest one is probably the one that's just going to be very short term.
Right.
But the person that's constantly put it in the work, it's going to be a long-term process.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
Indeed. And you definitely representing not only your family, not only your community, not only the city, not only this state. You now representing the country, and globally you're representing what we consider the African diaspora. So welcome. Can we have this conversation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's start with family. You mentioned your family a little bit ago. So do you come from a big family?
I do come from a big family. My dad's one of 12 kids.
Oh, wow.
I know. My mom's one of 6 kids. So all the cousins, you know, they're from, both my mom and dad are high school sweethearts from Port Arthur, Texas.
Nice.
So we would get sent to Port Arthur summers, winter breaks. You know, we're hanging out with my cousins. Now, I was the cousin that would go sneak off and just be with my grandma. And me and my grandma would do puzzles, and me and my grandma would cook, and then, you know, I'll go play with my cousins, you know, and then I'll be like, y'all doing too much. I'm about to go. Even spending the night, like, I would be like, okay, y'all all about to just lay on the floor. I'm about to go sleep at Momo's house. And they'd be like, Momo does not need to wake up to come get you. And I'd be like, she's going to wake up. She told me to call her whenever I was ready to go to sleep. And I was that grandchild. I was a Momo child. And
Indeed.
I don't know. I feel like I got so much wisdom from her.
Yeah.
I've gained so much knowledge that I still use to this day. And, you know, I just think to myself, even with my business, my production is called Yellow Brick Road Entertainment. And it's called Yellow Brick Road Entertainment because her name was Dorothy. Okay. And, you know, the Wizard of Oz. Yes. So, you know, with that being shown, she kind of already showed me that the Wiz don't know nothing. The wizard doesn't know anything. You pull back the curtain, and you've always been home within yourself.
Indeed.
So. Yeah.
No. Nice. So, what about siblings?
One sibling.
Yeah.
I have, well, I like to say, like, my adopted siblings, you know, that are cousins or one girl, her name is China. I call her my little sister because I've known her since she was 1. Okay. They came, her parents came to my dad's church. My dad has a church in Lamarck. They came to my dad's church when she was 1. Now she's 22. Okay. And I have coached her in so many ways as far as dance, as far as, you know, school boys. I'm picking her up from high school. I'm picking her, you know, bringing her to her first parties, all that kind of stuff. Me and her mom are very, very close. She does my hair. She's done my hair since I was a teenager. So she's like a big sister to me. And then her daughter's like my little sister.
There you go.
So not only that, I have my cousin who is like, that cousin that I was just like, okay, I know we related because we think the same about a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know about them right now, but me and you just vibe. Right. So, you know, I adopted her as a sister and, you know, that type of thing. But besides that, biologically, I only have one brother.
One brother. Yeah. You can say the name.
Richard.
Yeah, give him a shout out.
Scott. Rich Scott. Shout out to Rich Scott. We just found out he having a little girl with his wife. So
congratulations.
Yes, tomorrow, yesterday we found out.
Yeah.
So I'm about to be a whole auntie.
There you
like
go.
A real auntie.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. And now what about mom and pop? So you mentioned father having a church, so I take it that you are a PK?
I am a PK.
Okay.
So my dad, he became a preacher when I was 2. So all I've really known is a preacher, pastor life. Yeah. He became a pastor when I was 12. Okay. And we ended up moving out to Lamarck from Houston because we was living on the southwest side, like Fondren West Airport. Okay. And then from there we went to Lamarck, and I was out there my whole middle school life. And then from middle school to high school, we transferred to Pearland. Got you. So that's how my life went with that. But my mom and dad, my mom specifically was just such a intentional mother that anything that I looked like I was interested in, she'd be like, you love science? You want a microscope? Let's get a microscope. Let's get this. Let's get that. Dance? What? Okay, we're going to put you in ballet. We're going to put you in tap. We're going to put you in jazz. You want to try a pageant? I think you'd be good at a pageant. And I'm just like, okay, let's try it. You know, modeling, they had me with Page Parks. It's an agency out here. They had me doing anything and everything that I wanted to try. Tennis, that was my sport of choice. So besides dance. Right. So I played tennis all the way up until high school. And my dad played tennis.
Okay.
Even at TSU, like tennis was his life. So, you know, as soon as I was able to hold a racket,
you were on it.
I was on it. I had my first racket. It was a Prince racket. I remember it to this day because it was so purple and pretty. Purple was my favorite color. It's still my favorite color.
Yeah. There you go. That's the color of royalty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the color of royalty.
And I just gravitated to it as a child. Like even my room, he painted my room purple and everything. So
indeed. Now, so what is mom's and dad's name?
My dad's name is Richard Scott. My mom's name is Angela Scott.
Angela Scott. Intentional mom. Yeah.
Very intentional mom. Still to this day, even with my sons, you know, she's an intentional grandmother now. Like when she found out she was having a granddaughter, her first granddaughter, she was just like, okay, so I got to get the backyard together. I got to get a big playhouse for her, a dollhouse that she could walk in. I got to get a pool and this and that because they just moved into this house about 2 years ago. So they haven't done too much with the backyard yet, but now she's like,
they personalizing it now.
They're like, now they're about to personalize it for her. And I'm just like, okay.
There you go. That's what grandparents, that's when they actually get to live their joy of raising kids. Right. Yeah, because when you actually doing the work, it's different.
It is.
Now you guys do the work and they get the benefits. Yeah.
Patience.
They bring in the accent values.
I see it. I see it all the time. I'm just like, okay, y'all about to do this.
Yeah,
this and this.
They the icing on the cake.
I got that from my mom's mom. That was my mama, my grandma that I was close to. I didn't get it as much from my dad's mom because one, she had 12 kids, and I don't even know what number grandchild I was. My dad's number 7 of her kids. So
so he's right in the middle.
Yeah,
too.
He's right in the middle. And you know, I received love from my grandparents, but it wasn't just like, oh, we got this for you because you are granddaughter. We got this for you.
The attention is different.
Yeah, the attention is totally different. You know, but I get it because they only have now. This is gonna be their 3rd grandchild, so it's only 3 of them that they have to really just pay attention to.
Yeah, and then coming from big families also, you guys definitely like.
Yeah, my mom was not having more. She was like, two.
That's
you got a boy and a girl.
That's it.
And named us both after my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
And who's older?
I'm the oldest.
You are the oldest. Okay. All right. So then, so you what's the age difference?
5 years.
Oh wow. Yeah. So you definitely like. Okay.
I was thinking I was gonna be the only child, and I was okay with
it. And I tell you what, that actually shows in your leadership, right? Because you have a lot of traits of like a single child, right? And then at some point you can tell that the caring and protective attitude comes on, and that's, at that point you have already developed pretty much a bit of your personality, right? Post 3 years old, now you're comfortable enough to share.
The interesting, house and everything.
Yeah, interesting.
And you know, my brother got on my nerves so much, but now we are so cool. It's crazy, and you know, every time we'll be somewhere because he's also in the arts. He's in theater. He's DJing. He's doing a lot of things. He right before the pandemic, he was actually on Off Broadway on Mandela.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's studied theater and film for a very long time. So I'm proud of him, like getting back to his arts and getting back to his stuff, because sometimes you get taken away, you know, with jobs and everything. And then he got a wife, so you know, it was just like, I got to get a job, I got to do this, I got to do this, and I'm like, you can still get a job in what you're doing. You just have to learn the business of it. Indeed, you can only learn so much of your craft. Right. And some of it is really a gift. Indeed. But they don't always teach you the hustle. In the business. Quite true. So quite true, because that way is it's unique. It is. Yeah. There's no one blueprint. No, not at all. Yeah. But let's take our first break and kind of take a look at some of the content that makes you one of Houston's greatest. So we'll be right back. Look. It really baffles me. Look. Girls bragging on they pen about some whack lines. I could write it better incoherent off that good pine. After 4 glasses of that good wine. Y'all split explicit Dr. Seuss, this vocabulary poupon. Pinkies up when you sippin', when you listen. This a double cup of knowledge mixed with pimpin'. One for application and the other ammunition. Now mix it with your intuition. Look, I done cracked the code, and ain't no fear up in my pineal. Da Vinci on my tongue, none after. This is vinyl. I put that on the greatest vinyl. My words are lethal. Y'all shaking ass to get cash. I'm spitting wisdom for my people. Heard you a goat with that throat. Away your castle and your moat. Draw bridge close to the left. I ain't gotta do the most. When I breathe, they on my coat. They been trying to touch my hem. You ain't worried about no rocks when you really are a gem. Respect is just a minimum. Richelle the synonym. Crush Crayolas when they rap. I don't see no pen in them. Y'all waiting for some rhetoric that's heaven sent. My bad. Heard y'all getting tired of these bad bitches in hoe bags. GPS been really trying to find where they soul at. It's been leading me to only places where the dough at. No dignity is necessary written on the doormat.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight, and our guest today, Richelle Gemini. Let's get into this name. Richelle Gemini. Yeah. Is that your actual name?
Richelle is my first name.
Gotcha.
And Scott from my parents is my last name. Now the name Gemini came about because there is an OG poet out here in Houston.
Okay.
And I was going by my name, Richelle Scott, as a poet.
Right.
And that was it. This is in my earlier years, like in college.
Yeah.
And he was just like, you need a poetry name. Like, what's your poetry name? And I'm like, why do I need a poetry name? Like, what are you talking about? He was like, everybody has a poetry name, Richelle. You're not just going by your name. And I'm like, well, I like my name. So I'm going to go by my name. And I did a poem called Gemini. And he was just like, that's what I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you Gemini. And I was just like, no, do not call me Gemini. Like, that's, no. And he was just like, Richelle, I'm going to call you Gemini. Either that, and his name is Black Snow. And he was like, either I'm going to call you Gemini or I'm going to call you Yellow Snow. And I was just like, nobody want to be called Yellow Snow. Everybody know what Yellow Snow means. And he was just like, exactly. So, Gemini it is. Yeah. I just looked at this man like, whatever. Right. Now, he's calling me, telling people my name is Gemini, this, that, and the third. People are looking to book me.
Right.
Under Gemini.
Gemini.
I don't have that under my name. So then I realized that I went to a show in Houston because I was going back and forth. I was at the University of North Texas in Dallas. That's where I went to school. Okay. And I would come back down to Houston to do shows. And this girl came up to me like, I've been trying to find your name, Gemini, online. I was trying to book you. I couldn't find you on Facebook. Yeah. And I was like, I'm about to change my name. I'm going to change it to Richelle Gemini. I'm still going to keep my name.
There you go.
And then I'm going to add the Gemini to it. And after that, everybody was just like, Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. And
so,
I was like,
so the right pronunciation would be Richelle.
Richelle,
not Richelle. Okay.
But so, it looks like that.
Yeah. I was going Italian. Richelle. I was going Italian 100%. Yeah, Richelle. I'm like, okay.
I hope when I go to Italy one day, they're like, Richelle.
Yeah, that's exactly how they're going to introduce you.
Right.
Yeah, Richelle Gemini. Yeah, but at what point did you start to realize that you had a little bit of art in you, and what influences did you have? Of course, you mentioned your mom as being very into anything that you were into, like very objective, concise.
I knew I had art into me very young because my first art was dance. So whenever I got into learning, then I started coming up with my own dances. And by the age of 12, 13, I'm teaching dance.
Wow, you're already choreographing.
Yes, I'm already choreographing because when I moved to Lamarck, they didn't know about ribbon dance. And I learned about ribbon dance in Houston at the studio that I was at, where we would just, use rhythmic gymnastics and ribbons as well as our bodies. Right. So I remember the teacher telling me like, okay, Richelle, you could take the class and teach them this. And, you came up with this, so you could do this. And I was just like, okay, cool. So then I'm at my dad's church, and some of the little girls, they weren't able to afford to go to, dance academies and everything. So I was like, I could teach them what I'm learning, and then I'll just make it more. I'll make sure it's proper for church. So I started teaching them, and after that, I would say my cousin in high school, he would start playing beats. Okay. And he was just like, freestyle. And I'd be like,
Wow.
no, I'm on the way to school. I want to go to sleep. I want to get my extra Z's in.
Right.
And he would just turn up the radio. I couldn't even go to sleep. He'd be like, man, just freestyle a little bit. And I'll start freestyling. And he'd be like, man, you would sound real good if you really thought about it.
Right.
And I was just like, all right. So I would go home and I would just start writing some of my freestyles down because I'm like, I'm going to get him. Next time he turn on this beat, I'm going to get him. Yeah. By the time I got to college, I had a whole book of freestyles and rhymes. So now I'm joining a organization called the Cast because at University of North Texas, it wasn't an HBCU, so there wasn't as many black roles in theater. Right. So there was an organization called the Cast that was created. And the first meeting there, they're like, we need somebody to do a monologue at the Alphas event. And I was just like, I'll do the monologue. And I write the monologue, perform it, come back. And they're like, you were the poet. And I'm like, no, that was a monologue. And they were like, no, you're a poet. And I'm just like, you think I'm a poet? Yeah. I was like, I do got a book full of rhymes.
There you go.
And then I showed the guys that called me a poet my rhymes, and they was just like, you need to come with us to this open mic. And I was like, okay, I never been to an open mic. And I go to the open mic, and they wrote my name down without me knowing. And they called out my name. They said, next coming to the stage, Richelle. And I was like, somebody got my name? No way. Somebody has my name. That's crazy. And some people are Rochelle, Rachel, but never
Very few
Richelle.
Richelle, right.
So I'm looking around, and the guy with the mic, and I look at my homeboys, and it was like, that's you. And I'm like, I looked at the guy, I was like, no. Like, I wasn't ready. And he was just like, don't be scared. And I was like, I'm going to get up there. I'm not going to be scared. And after that, it just constantly just kept taking off. And I really haven't included dance like I really wanted to inside my performances, but I am about to start doing that again, where I'm including it inside my performances, because that's where I first started off and learned about my artistic abilities as a child. Right. At 5 years old in dance.
It was dance. Yeah. So any teachers in like elementary school or early on that you think that made a difference in the way you actually approached your artistic vein?
I would say yes. I had my dance teachers, Miss Marie Love. Yeah. She still follows me on Facebook to this day. Yeah. And
shout out
to Miss Marie Love.
Yeah.
And Miss Sybil, that was her like ride or die. You know, they both had the dance studio together. Right. They were like on stage. There are no mistakes. If your tutu falls, it's a part of the choreography.
There you go.
You know, I've learned in my art to this day, if there's a mess up, no, I'm freestyling. Right. Like, there's no facial change. There's no like, oh man, can y'all start it over? Like, no, we're popping. So that they definitely, with poetry though, it was in high school, and her name was Miss Huddleston. And she made us, it was an English teacher, she made us close our eyes and listen to the song Dare You to Move. And once she played it, she was just like, now write what you feel.
There you go.
And it wasn't, structured. It wasn't,
just flow. Right. Yeah, just flow.
And when she read mine, she was just like, Richelle, like, you really are a writer. And I'm just like, And I'm joking because I'm in high school. I'm not thinking like I'm about to be a poet or I'm about to be this or I'm about to be that. But I know that in those moments, it was just like I really enjoyed writing there, or I really enjoyed doing this. And I would say even my church, my dad's church before we moved to Lamarck, Liberty Baptist Church, it's off West Airport right now. Okay. It used to be in 3rd Ward off Holman Street. Okay. And when I say almost every youth from my time that I know is somewhere in the arts, from Ashley Tamar Davis. Right. She's Grammy nominated. She worked with Prince. Right. She was also in Girls Time before it became Destiny Child. She, I know some drummers that are from there. I know some people that are working for Tyler Perry Studios right now that was from that time. I have so many of us that have pursued artistic professions in that. And even from the Grammy nomination. So the guy, Uncle Jumbo, used to be in a group called Rosewood Thieves. And inside that group, one of the guys I went to church with. Wow. And he was in my same Sunday school. And that's how I got to know him. Gotcha. And then he turned into doing children's music. Yeah. And still that connection from back then turned into where we are now. And
wow.
that they made us do not regular church plays, like productions.
There you go.
And they were like, pronunciate your words. Yeah.
Enunciation.
Look at Mr. Clock. If you can't look at somebody in the face, look at Mr. Clock. Like, look into the audience. They taught us so much that we didn't know what we was getting prepared for.
Yeah. The role of church sometimes, right? Yeah, when well applied and community.
Right.
Also, I mean, today you guys are dispersed throughout several points of the industry,
right,
and yet start finding each other. Yeah. Now, you were born and raised in Houston.
Yes, I was.
Wow.
H-Town. I'm a Houston baby.
You really represent.
I do. I'm from Houston. Like I told you, we were living off Fondren West Airport for a very long time. And then we moved to Lamarck, and my dad really didn't like the school system out there. He knew that he was there for a purpose, but he was just like, yeah, you got to go. Like, this is not for you. Because when we were in Houston, they had me in private schools and charter schools. So I never really was in HISD. I probably was in HISD maybe for first and second grade. Besides that, they had me in private schools, charter schools. And then when we got to Lamarck, it was like, where do we put her? And they ended up finding a charter school there called Mainland Preparatory Academy, which is still going to this day, ran by 2 black women. And they had us very strict. They had us they had gymnastics there. They had dance there. They had all the academics. They had etiquette class. They had it was very prominent because a lot of people were on wait lists trying to get into that school because the school system in Lamarck was not
that good.
Yeah, it was not good at all. I could look back now and be like, I probably wouldn't send my kids there for middle school. But but that's what happened. I ended up my parents always found the right academic spaces for me to succeed.
Indeed. And now you are mother.
Now I am a mother.
Yeah. And of course, better than anyone else, you know that it doesn't even start at school. It starts at home.
Wow.
Yeah. and once you get it right at home, it becomes easier to place that into school. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
How is that experience?
Well, my experience being a mother has been so rewarding because everything that I pour into them, I see it back tenfold several times. And not only just for them, like for me, they inspire me. Like, what, Mom, what are you about to do? What are you doing that for? You're doing this. Like, well, no, you need to be making sure that you have this. Like, of course they recognize you. You do this. Like, I'll be telling them, like, guys, guess what? Did you know that? And they be like, they should have been done that. And I'm just like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I should have been done that. Okay, cool. So, my sons are very just that. People like to, and I remember when I got pregnant, and it was not expected. Like, I wasn't just like, oh, I'm trying to get pregnant. No. So, I was with my college boyfriend, and when I found out I was pregnant, I was going on tour. I was, it was 2011. Yeah, it was 2011, and I was going on tour with Kurt Cobain.
Okay.
And then I went on a mini tour with Darrell.
Okay.
And I had found out I was pregnant within those moments. Like, I was throwing up, getting on stage. Throwing up, getting back on stage. And after that, I told the manager at the time, like, I don't think I can keep doing this right now. Like, I have to revamp myself, get myself together. And he was just like, you're going to love motherhood. You're not going to come back. And I'm like, no, this is what I do. I'm going to come back. I was just like, but at the same time, you would have to see that.
Yeah,
you can't see
focus.
it in my head.
Yeah.
So by the time 2016 came around, my sons were 3 and 4. And that's when I started really going back into my musical journey out here in Houston. So
now, did you have twins?
No, they're 10 months apart.
They're 10 months apart. Oh, you went right back to back.
No.
Oh, yeah, you didn't wait.
But
you definitely didn't waste no time.
Yeah, and at that time,
and that's probably a good thing too, right?
Now, You know, at the time, people were telling me when I got pregnant, like, "Oh, you were gonna be so good. You were so talented." I'm like, I still got this talent. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's kind of like they're trying to put a term to it.
They are, and I remember looking at my mom trying to tell her like, my story's not over.
Right.
You know, and telling other people like, y'all don't get to write my story, and then getting told that, oh, it's hard, or you're gonna have to stop this music hobby, and I'm like, it's not a hobby. Like I was getting paid. Like what are you talking about?
It's my career.
Right.
Own your. You got to see it's and that's important to own your narrative, because a lot of people will allow other people to determine what their narrative is supposed to be, right?
And some people really go with the script,
right? Because I mean, you can probably go ahead and take a short detour. Is just really what it is, a detour,
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like having my kids, I've been able to in my art relate to way more people, especially women, and being able to talk to so many women and tell them like, make sure you're looking at your children as a blessing and not a burden.
Right.
In the way that you speak, you may not say it that they're a burden, but the way you do it, like, oh, I got these kids. Like, no, like, yes, you have these children. You are pouring into a whole new vessel, a whole new branch of yourself, to the point where, you know, I know what I'm doing, and I know how I'm, you know, molding my career. But I know me pouring into my children is also going to be an overflow to me as well.
Indeed.
And that's what I've looked at it as going forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just thinking like 10 months apart. So if one was born in January or February, you got two children that got birthdays right in the same year.
No,
or they become the same age at some point.
They do become the same age as somebody. So one is in November, the other one's in September.
Oh,
so I had one November 2012, and then the other one September 2013. So they're the same age for about a month and a half.
There you go.
Yeah, and the youngest milks it. He'll be like, "We are the same age right now. You cannot tell me what to do."
There you go.
I'll be like, "Boy, sit down." And then the youngest is getting taller than the oldest right now.
Oh wow,
just a little bit.
Yeah,
but they are different, but they get along.
Right.
They respect each other, but at the same time, they have their brother moments where I'm just like, shut up, don't talk to him like that. Like I have to be like, for both of them, I have to be like, who are you talking? Like, don't talk to him like that. Or then, you know, so
you're the regulator.
I have to regulate and be the referee because one of them is more OCD or more clean, and then the other one is more like free flowing and just like, and then one is just so like the one that's not as clean. Lincoln, he'll pick up something so fast.
Who's the OCD? The oldest?
No, the youngest.
The youngest.
Is OCD.
Oh wow!
So he thinks he's the oldest because he's able to be like, no, that's not right.
Right. So he's the thinker. He's the observer, the thinker.
I would say he's the observer. Both of them are observers and thinkers in their own way, but he's gonna voice it quickly. The youngest, he's gonna be like, "No, that's not how you say his name," or "No, that's not how you do this." Like, if you would call me Richelle, he would be in here and be like, "That's not how you say her name."
Yeah, it's Richelle.
The oldest will be like, "I think he said your name."
Yeah,
he'll do that. He'll whisper it.
Right,
and
it's the
be
diplomatic.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. And I'm just like, you know, they handle things.
You have both sides of the coin right
They're
there.
Very both sides.
Interesting.
Both sides. I have one that's ready to be aggressive in sports, and I have one that just wants to, like, be a swimmer.
There you go.
Or play tennis. I don't want to hit nobody.
Yeah,
I just want to show
let
my
me be.
skills.
Yeah, let me be.
Yes.
I got this.
Right.
Yeah. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and take another break and take a look at some more content that Richelle Gemini has for us today. And attention to Richelle. You may be reading Richelle, but it's Richelle. We'll be right back.
Very cheap. GMO on GMO. I can't take this shit no more. FDA say okay till another heart explode. E. coli, salmonella, damn right that cow man. Slaughterhouse was not his choice, neither was your L-bad. Recall on recall. I can't focus Adderall. Kids can't focus Ritalin. Pill shots and insulin. CEO dividends. I just want it all to end. Regroup then we try again. Cause shopping like a labyrinth. I just want some healthy veggies. Something I can feed my babies. Lately ain't been sugar crazy. Really high or really lazy. Used to ask my dad why they wanna feed us bad. He say people will do anything for something they never had. And I'm like, why? He told me that old sin nature. Why do they feed us that way? And they say why? He told
sunny side, food desert. I can't find no healthy choice. Less it's frozen, mixed with sodium. Bitch, that ain't no healthy choice. Spitting truth, any boom.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight with Gil Ingles and Richelle Gemini. Hey. Richelle, author, spoken word artist, bars. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I follow you on Instagram, and let me kind of tell this story a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So, the first time I met you was actually here in the elevator.
I think I remember.
Yeah.
This.
I get off the elevator and I see, and I said, she's got to be an artist. And I approached you and I said, listen, I'm doing a podcast. I would like to talk to you about what you do.
Yeah.
And what do you do? And you're like, oh, I'm an artist. I do things. Yeah, it's like, okay. And we exchanged Instagrams and I started following you. And you know, sometimes you hear people talking and, you know, people posting, but posting and being it are different things.
Facts.
Right. So I really start diving in and checking your acumen, and you dope. Yeah, you really dope. I mean, you got bars. I mean, I honestly, I'm on my fan mode right now, right? So I'm gonna tell you, as a fan, honestly, I'll put my money on you against any MC in this city, and I think you can bag them. That's honestly facts.
And I have.
Yeah.
I've battled them in 2017. I was battling all the guys.
Yeah.
And I still to this day look at some of them. I'll be like,
yeah, no, you have it. You have a gift.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you have a gift for emceeing. You really have a gift for rocking the crowd, and that's something that you don't just. I don't even think someone can learn that. It's natural, right? When you have it naturally, you have it naturally, because the ability of being able to command the attention of everyone without forcefully taking them there, and then be able to take them through a journey is something that you have to have a natural tact for, and you do have that. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
And then another thing that I like on you, and this is now my compliment, I always give at least one compliment on this show to the guests, is what I see you doing with your children. Yeah. I find it so important that at times parents become so wound up on themselves and on what they're trying to accomplish that they forget to engage their children and create a path in which they can pass on what it is to be the legacy of who they are. So one day I'm watching a clip and you basically working with your son on something. And I was like, oh, okay, that is cute. And then at the end of it, when you asked him, so what do you think? And your son told you what he thought, and you actually listened, and you said, okay, let's go with that. There you won me. I was like, that is real motherhood right there. Right? And today we get to understand that that is also something that you got from your mother and grandmother.
And my grandmother.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They talk to me like I had wisdom.
Indeed.
So I speak to my children like they have wisdom.
Indeed.
Because they do.
Yeah.
They have wisdom. They have intellect. They have intuition. They know when the energy don't feel right, and we walking somewhere and they be like, something off. You know?
Indeed.
So I look at them as like, y'all are gonna be super wise.
There you go.
Let me give y'all what I can give y'all, and I know y'all gonna pick up even more.
Yeah.
You know, from the people that I put you around, or the schools that I have you at. Like the school that I have them at, Music Magnet School.
Wow.
I could have them in, you know, piano classes and stuff like that. But inside that school, they specifically make it a curriculum for them to learn music and understand music. And I don't think a lot of people know how important learning music is for kids to understand even math. for them to be able to grasp English reading. Music plays a role in the brain for that. When they were in the womb, I was intentionally being a mother. I was playing classical music for their brains to develop. And then when they got out of my womb, it stayed on the jazz station inside of their room for them to really, their minds to really start grasping things in certain ways. And it shows so much now, like, we'll just be in a quiet place and my son will start saying something and then I'm starting to say something and then it turned into a song and then it turned, and now they have that knowledge in a song. When I look at my sons, I remember us walking to a place and I told them we're about to go to a fun place, but we got to go here first. And they, you know, kids, they're patient. I look at them and I be like, patience, patience, patience. And they go, wait, that's patience. They know that there's different ways that I've told them and showed them, like, this is how I check myself. So definitely, no, I enjoy motherhood all the time. I've told you know, guys that I was dating, I'd be like, I want to be like a housewife that's not at home. Like, I am such a good housewife that's just not gonna be at home. Like, I'm gonna be at home as far as like making sure the kids are good, making sure, you know, I cook a lot, everything in that aspect. But I'm not about to be at home just gossiping on the phone with my friends and stuff like that. I'm about to be making moves too at the same time. But first priority would be housewife. But all the other stuff,
will come with it. No, you cook.
Oh, I cook.
You cook.
That's what the book, the author, it's a cookbook. But the cookbook also has poetic stories that are attached to the recipes. And it's a vegan cookbook. It's called As For Me in My House, We Will Serve Veggies. And it goes with an album that I released also in 2021 called As For Me in My House. And I made that album because it was a recipe for your energy. So like the whole track list is a full recipe. So it's like 7 cups of real, a dash of self-love, a pinch of simplicity. You know, the special ingredient is you understanding yourself. And then it first starts off at 350 degrees because Black people for some reason think we could cook everything at just 350 degrees. So it really ties into you just getting yourself together spiritually inside yourself before you go out and try to be around anybody else. Because I talk about it all the time. If everybody knew how to really practice self-love, and I'm not just talking about going and get a massage or going and get, you know, your nails done, this, that. I'm talking about truly loving yourself. You will properly love other people around you, and this world will look totally different.
No, it starts with us. Starts within. Now, let's talk about that authorship, the cooking, the creative process of going to where you got to, right? It's not every day that you sit around and you be like, you know what, I need to, no. So take us through that process.
2020. 2020, I had time. I had so much time to create. I was working from home because I was working at Memorial Hermann Hospital. And I was just like, okay, I'm done with my work. So I'm at home. The boys are in school. Let me see if I can cook this new recipe now. Let me see if I can do this. And I remember telling one of my friends, I think I'm going to attempt doing some vegan oxtails. And I did the vegan oxtails. She said, if you do these vegan oxtails and they taste good, Richelle, I promise you, you better start selling them. Or I'm going to buy the ingredients and ask you to make it and I'm going to sell them. I cooked them. I brought in my friends. And my friends are critics in the loving way. But they're going to be like, that's not it. Or they're going to be like, that's it. And they loved it. I sold out the first time I was making the oxtails. And then people started asking me during 2020 when they were trying to eat healthy, like, how did you make that when you posted it? How did you make this when you posted it? So then I started, like my cousin, whenever he was playing the beats, I was like, I started writing down. I started writing down recipes so I can just send them out to people. And I was just like, you know what? I have a whole computer.
No, this business.
I could create a whole ebook right now that people can buy. And I created the ebook and put it on Amazon and figured it out because YouTube University, I try to tell people,
there you go.
There's so many places you can go learn how to do things on there. And now it's not just YouTube, it's TikTok. It's everything. Like it's so many people. I tell people, sometimes people use these things as fools. I like to use these platforms as tools. And I look for knowledge everywhere that I go.
There was bars right there.
Come on now.
Come on.
It's natural. It's natural. And whenever I did the cookbook, I was just like, I'm going to pair it with the album. So instead of releasing T-shirts, because people wasn't really going out. So I made the ebook as merchandise with the album. So here's food for your stomach, and then here's some food for your soul.
Yeah. Creativeness. And people saying that there are no opportunities to become.
Come on. Yeah. You have to figure it out.
Got to.
You have to. You can't just keep saying there's no. If you keep saying there's no, you are manifesting that there's no.
Indeed.
And the universe like, oh, you're not that type of person. That brings that to your life. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So.
How do you stay grounded? Because that takes that core of you to be right for the rest to flourish. Right. And it doesn't mean that it is every day. We all have days, and there may be days that are not perfect. But you also know that, okay, this day is not perfect, but I can manage it.
Sometimes I be thinking to myself, am I too grounded? Because a lot of people approach me and be like, yeah, you way too nice, or you don't even, why are you here, or what are you doing here? And I'm just like, I felt like being here, you know. If I go to like an open mic and I'm just chilling, and they're just like, you're here? And I'm just like, yeah, because I want to get inspired. I want to see what's next. I want to see, like, I would get inspired, as a youth coming up in the poetry world. So I'm always thinking to myself, like, there's somebody else that can inspire me too. I'm not just the inspiration.
Indeed.
So I think the core of me has always just kept me understanding that we're first all spirits within a shell, a human shell. And once I really grasp that, everything just keeps me grounded. Nothing really takes me out of my element of just like, oh no. Like I don't look at people in that way. I have understanding for people. I do understand that some spaces I don't need to be in for my own peace. For my own in that way. But I never think to myself, you're too good for this, or you're too this for this. I do have to keep people around me that help me with that, as far as like business-minded people, because my heart is such a like, oh, what do you need? Oh, okay, let me see if I can do that for you, or let me see if we can do this.
Solutionist.
Solutionist. But as I've grown in my art and as I've gotten, more recognition, I've had to restructure a lot of the people that help me in the business world. But me as a person,
still the same.
Still in my heart. Like, I don't have any...
In the essence.
Even the people that I don't even mess with no more. I don't have no malice. I just think to myself, oh, man,
Indeed.
That was a season. But sometimes it hurts to realize people are seasons.
But it's the process that helps one to grow. Right? Yeah, because sometimes you got to be able to look at... I guess for those of us that at some point have probably stopped eating a specific thing, food, like, for instance, when I stopped eating meat, it had gotten to a point where I looked at meat and I just saw something.
It's just
it's just something. It's there.
It's not like I crave it or anything. No. I didn't. And somebody said that today whenever I was having lunch. They were just like, oh, poor her, poor. They said, poor you vegan. And I was just like, look, I eat whatever you want to eat. None of it. I don't look at you in jealousy or envy or nothing like that. I don't even look at it. I just be like, eat what you eat. I'm not trying to force you. I'm not trying to make you feel nothing. I don't. And I've learned that. I learned that from my granddad. So he's not my biological granddad, but if you tell him that, he would go crazy. So my mom.
If you say he's your granddad, I'd say he's your granddad.
So my mom's dad passed away when she was 2. And then my dad's dad, me and him, like I said, there was 12 kids. We and him wasn't as close. But I still, when I saw him, it was love. So my uncle, my mom's sister's husband, his dad known me since I was a child, and he comes around the family every year around a certain time. He lives in New York. He's vegan.
Gotcha.
The most calmest. The most nicest.
Give him a shout out. Give the name, because we need to know the name.
Oh, Roy. Mr. Roy, granddad.
Grandpa Roy.
When I say I learned so much from him, I remember when I cut off all my hair. And my family was like, what is going on? This was 2016. I cut off my hair. I stopped eating meat. And they're looking at me like, you can't make the boys do this. And I was like, what do you mean make them do this? I was just like, I remember when I was little and they were like, you going to eat what I give you. Yeah. And I'm just like, now I can't make my sons eat what I give them. Like, y'all are crazy. So, and then I had to tell them, I was like, I'm not even making them candy-tarians. Right. I'm making them vegetarians. Right. I hadn't even cut out cheesing yet for them because I took them on a process. I was showing them documentaries. I was showing them different stuff. Right. So, my granddad, he said, don't even argue. The only thing that has to be spread is a lie. And I was like, all right. Yeah. He was like, what are you getting mad for? He was like, are you good with yourself? Yes. Right. He was like, you're going natural now? He was just like, don't you love your hair? And I'm just like, I do love my hair. I got taught young, like, you have to keep it straight. Indeed. You have to keep it manageable. You have to do this. Yeah. And I looked almost white. And I was just like, I don't want to look white with my hair and my skin. Like, it was no offense to white people, but I just, it was a lot. And I just wanted to love myself fully. And I don't think some of my family understood that because they were just like, you're such a pretty girl and everything's okay. And I'm like, okay, pretty,
still pretty.
But at the same time, can I learn to love me? Right.
Discovery.
Learn how to take care of me. Learn how my thought process of me working with the creator is, So, that right there, that's a whole nother story. Yeah. Because my dad being a pastor, it was like, why aren't you coming to church all the time? Or why aren't you doing this all the time? And I'm going to, have you heard of the Shrine of the Black Madonna?
No. I heard of it, but I never been.
I was starting to go there to learn a lot of African history. I was starting to learn so many things that my parents didn't know. They were in Port Arthur. My mom went to a white Catholic school. Right. So she didn't get all the Black history that she could really digest and learn, as a child. Right. But I would come tell her different things. And then when I started telling them about the vegan food, when I started telling them about no perms, they were like, now, whoa.
You're going too far.
Right, you're going too far. So, at the same time, now, though, in 2024, they receive me as me. We still have our moments, but, I'm grateful that I get to live such an honest and true life, not only in front of audience of people where people be like, look at you, you're this, but now I can still be the same person in front of my family, because I see a lot of people switch up in front of their parents and their family. I'll be like,
it becomes sort of that dual, how can I say, personality. Right? Because,
and it's sad. It's sad.
Indeed. And that's something that, for instance, for those of us who actually are born in another country or are born of parents that come from a different country here in the States, you kind of live their life, because inside of those doors, for those of us Africans, you're in Africa. Right. Yeah, 911 doesn't even work. Yeah, outside of that door, you're in America, right? Your friends are telling you, oh, if somebody says that to me, my father does this or says that, I'm calling 911, I'm reporting him. Yeah, try that at home. Right. It doesn't function. It's a different way of raising, and people just cope with it by creating actually those two personalities, and they learn to manage both, and eventually they have to discover how to merge them and become one. Right. And I think that's what you went through, I guess, at some point when you become 16, right? Because you're now discovering yourself, you're finding the essence of you. Yeah.
And I want my kids to just grow in honesty and grow in truth. So I'm constantly trying to be like, is this you? Or are you trying to be cool in front of your friends? Yeah. Or is this you and you really want to do this? Right. And I have those talks with them often, because I just never want them to feel like they have to fake in front of me, or they can't tell me something because they feel embarrassed, or they think that I'm going to go off on them because that's not how I taught you. Like, I listen to them all the time. I constantly listen to them. And I love understanding their brains and how it functions, because I know that they're going to learn some things that I don't even know about.
Quite true.
And I keep my mind open for those moments, because I don't want to react like my parents reacted.
But it's important in some things. Also, it's kind of important because it reminds us that there although you're free to go, you still must proceed with caution. Facts. Right? Because otherwise you just think that, oh, you know what, you just go. Right. Yeah, but you gotta, they gotta be
It's a moment.
boundaries. Yeah,
Boundaries.
and you gotta know how to approach them.
Facts.
Even though you're gonna break the glass ceiling, you gotta protect yourself from the glass coming down, right? Because otherwise, it'll cut you. Yeah. But let's should we take another break and take a look at some more of your content,
Yeah,
because
let's take a little break.
conversation is good, but content always gets people more excited because then
Alright.
they see what
we
exactly
talking
it is.
about.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So for those of you that just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight, and we're going into a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Ain't no telling what tomorrow hold, baby. All I know, I want your hand to hold, baby. Yeah. Ain't no telling what tomorrow hold, baby. Never have I want to hold you, baby. Yeah. Feeling love on a whole new mind in suspension, fears have ascended, heart fully mended. On you I am dependent, niggas get offended. My rules you really bent it, I meant it. I mean, I'm loving you publicly, kissing you, rubbing me. I was all alone and now I'm loving you. Suddenly you bring out another me, put away the thug in me, gave that little bitch away. You know that's the plug in me. She ugly, you beautiful. Bless me with your mind and run me down.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight, and Richelle Gemini is in the
Hey.
building. Listen, it's amazing when you see someone accomplish what they want to accomplish. And when you have conversations that help you understand that, becomes even better. And this has been one of these conversations, because there are things that you see and you look at a person and you're like, wow, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And then you understand why it is so cool. You understand the struggle, the work and everything that went into it to become, right?
Right.
And you even appreciate it more because you know that it wasn't always gravy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In your most challenging moment in life, what did you hold on to?
In my most challenging moment in life, I held on to, and I'm such a person of respecting my ancestors, that this is a first world problem.
Yeah.
I literally would think that to myself whenever I would get to those moments. I'd be like, my ancestors probably just wish they could get to this kind of problem.
Right.
They're looking at me right now with such strength, with such inspiration, with such hope in the type of society that I'm getting brought up in today. That, Richelle, there is no room right now for you to just look so down on yourself. You're smart, you're intelligent. The affirmations, the meditation. Like I said, I would go to the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I did a lot of yoga with different people. Like I said, meditation, fasting. Whenever I'm, even to this day, whenever I'm in a moment of like, I don't know what to do right now. Hold on, let me figure something out. Have you heard of the restaurant Sunshines?
Yes.
Mr. Sunshine, R.I.P. to Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah.
I remember being in line one day.
Wow.
And I had just got finished. Dealing with some people that possibly were gonna sign me with a label situation, and I'm thinking like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna have to be at this job no more. I'm gonna get to do what I love now, and looking back, that was a block for a blessing.
Right.
But when I was in that line, he saw it in my face, and he said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool." He was just like, "I think it's time for you to go to the water." And I was just like, he gave classes on fasting over the on the weekends. And I ended up fasting for 7 days.
Yeah.
And so many things broke open to me that I was just like, okay, I need to be fasting every season. I need to do 3 days at least of just water.
Right.
So from 2016 to now, every season I do 3 days of just a water fast.
Yeah.
Summer, winter, spring, fall. I have to do at least 3. The longest I've gone is 8.
Right.
But 3 days, I have to do it just to redo my mind, make sure I'm tapping into nature, making sure that I'm understanding what the Creator is like leading me to.
Recalibrate.
And yes, and you know, even though I'm vegan, sometimes I don't eat always the healthiest. That doesn't mean I'm not eating French fries. French fries are vegan.
Right.
you know, they still have the burgers and they still have all the other stuff. And you know, I've done raw diets as well. But when it comes to those moments, I'm really detoxing myself from a lot of things. And that, I have to say, that fasting has been one of my consistent mediators in my life that makes me clock back into all the things that I need to do.
Indeed. Yeah. Now, heritage, right? Of course, your heritage. Let's actually start there. What is your exact heritage? Do you even know? Have you looked into it? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Share that. Is that something that you would like to share?
I was 10 years old when I was looking this up because, like I told you, I was getting perms.
Right.
So girls would be like, you need to go over there with the white girls. And I'll be like, I'm not white.
Right.
Like, I'm full black. Like, I'm talking, my parents are black. They look black. I promise. I would have to say stuff like that.
Yeah.
And because I had a more proper dialect too, they were just, you know, if I go somewhere else, they're like, oh, well, you could tell you from the South. But in the South, I sounded proper. So it was, 10 years old. I was calling my grandma. I was calling everybody. And, you know, my grandma and them, they're from Port Arthur. So we go down the line and it's French, so Creole, Jamaican.
Okay.
And also we have Portuguese and what was the other thing? Because all of it really is still from the African diaspora because there's black people in Portugal, there's black people in Jamaica, there's black Frenchmen. And even though a lot of my aunties and uncles, like they look fair skin, they look like they can pass. If you call them anything else, oh, they're going to cuss you out.
Yeah, there you go.
They will cuss you out. And, of course, indigenous, Native American. We have Apache and we have Cherokee. So those were the things that was broken down to me. And when I saw a picture of my great-great-grandmother on my dad's side, her hair was fire red down to her waistline. It was crazy to see her freckles and everything. And my aunties, 2 of my aunties on my dad's side, they have fire red hair, freckles and everything. My natural hair color is sandy brown.
Gotcha.
So as a child, it was very like blondish brown. Even bright, like on my arms is blondish and everything. So it was it was very confusing for me growing up because I'm just like, I promise. I'm full black. Like, you know, and understanding that. And now it's just like I understand even more that I'm not just a color black. Like I have to find my nationality. I have to find my ethnicity. I have to find, because they gave us the word black. But at the same time, it's like we are melanated, strong people.
Indeed.
So
and it's about connecting connecting the heritage, right? Understanding the heritage, because regardless of whether it is Caucasian, African, or whatever, it's still right. And heritage, and understanding it helps get along with everyone else, and even stay within your core, right? Stay strong within your core.
Now, my youngest son, he's half Nigerian.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And he went to Lagos last year to
go
meet his family in the village and everything, and you know, he loved it. And I told him, I was just like, take this in, take this in to understand where you are in your life and where you could take the next generation of your family and the next generation of your people, because it's both sides. And I've always made sure that he understand his heritage, and of course his dad does too as well. But at the same time, I remember telling his dad, like whenever we were dating, I was just like, sometimes I'd be so jealous because you know exactly where you come from. You know exactly where, you know, your people are from. You know, you could go down to the village, down to the, you know, everything. So, you know, I don't know past my great-great-great-grandfather. I don't know past that. Because, you know, a lot of our family, like even the Creole dialect, it stopped at my grandma. They didn't want her to have that dialect because they wanted people to think she was proper in high school and finish high school and sound smart.
Yeah, assimilated.
Assimilated. And I'm just like, hell no, I want to know the language because I don't want to talk like this in front of everybody. But, you know, it was in a time where they just thought, like, we got to fit in so we can get our stuff together.
Indeed. And different season, right? With different purposes, and the purpose today is definitely taking us back to the continent. So, have you yourself had a chance to visit the continent?
No. I want to.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Now you mentioned you have it?
Yeah, I do have a passport.
You mentioned Portuguese. I'm actually from a Portuguese speaking country.
What?
Yeah, I am from Angola. I was born in Angola. I was raised here in the US, but I was born in Angola.
Okay.
Right? So, Africa is what? Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, Equatorial Guinea. Those are the countries that speak Portuguese on the continent.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have Brazil. In South America. You have Portugal in Europe. And then you have Macau and Goa in Asia.
Okay.
Yeah. But, so there are some Portuguese-speaking countries. So I would definitely make an invitation. I think you should go visit Africa, and if you do, you should definitely try Angola because it would be right. As a matter of fact, I think I introduced you to the Consul General for the Republic of Angola at the Ensemble Theater. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be the lady that would basically, in order for when you go to get the visa, she's the person that actually she's the highest ranking officer of the Angolan government.
Okay.
Here in Houston, Texas.
Oh wow.
Right. Yeah. So she's the consular.
No, I would love to go.
Indeed.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. Your first, of course, you mentioned that you have a child with a Nigerian man. Was that your first experience with the continent, or with someone with the continent? Was that your first friendship with someone from the continent? Yeah. No.
So, funny story.
Your first exposure.
Before my dad got his church, he was an interim pastor at the First African Baptist Church in Houston. Everybody was Nigerian except us. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't understand nobody. Like, what is going on? And I was 10. Right. And he was like, Richelle, don't say that. Don't say that. I'm just like, I can't understand nobody. Like, and then everybody looking at me like, who's this white girl in class? Like, because kids are very honest. Kids are very this, So the children, I could understand them way more. But the adults, they'll be saying stuff, and I'll be like, I think she was talking about me.
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing. I ended up telling my dad, I was just like, I understand that the Lord called you here. Right. But can I go back to the church that we was at? Because I know my friends over there, and I know everybody over there. So that was my first time.
Your first exposure to.
Yeah. And then that was not my first time dating Nigerian. No, I dated another one in college. Okay. And I'm not shouting him out.
It's all right.
And then after I had my children, I dated another guy, but he was very sweet, very nice, but he had a situation with a woman that had children, and the dad was still more so in her life, and ended up busting in on them in an apartment.
Oh, gracious.
So he tried to put that fear on me and say, well, now I'm here, so I'll be their father figure. And I was just like, what? I was like, no, love. Like, they still got to know their fathers. He was like, but you said that this happened and this is how you feel. I said, that's how they treated me. Right. But I need them to know their dad. Right. So, he did not trust the fact that I was fully, I guess, done with them. And I was fully done with them. But at the same time, you can't force somebody out of their fears that they had to endure. Yeah. So I just told him, I said, okay, love, we'll just be cool. We'll be friends. Yeah. And to this day, he still follows me. He still, be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. All this, that, and the third. But, Yeah, no, after that I have not.
Yeah.
I have not approached anymore.
Sometimes generational trauma, right?
Right.
And that's that baggage, right? As we say it on the streets. Those bags, you got to be very careful with them because you can carry them, unnecessarily, right? Talking about wisdom from grandmothers, my grandmother used to say the following: always be very careful on what you pick up to carry with you, because if you busy your hands with unnecessary stuff, when the necessary stuff is given to you, you won't be able to receive it because your hands are already occupied and full with stuff that you don't need to hold on to. So she always said, make sure that you leave the weights where they should be and travel free, right?
Come on now.
Yeah, and interesting. But so going to the continent, if you were to take a trip to the continent, what country would you want to go visit?
One of my first places I went to go visit was Ghana.
Ghana.
Yes, I've had a lot of great people that I know go to Ghana and tell me, Richelle, you need to go to Ghana. Yeah. Like, they would love you out there. They would, you need to go do your art out there. You need to do this. It's a whole, what?
You want me to tell you something?
What?
In all honesty, if I had to place you in Africa, I would have placed you in Ghana.
See? I be listening too. I'm like, okay, Ghana's on my list first.
As a matter of fact, I know someone. She lives in Virginia Beach. If I was to put you guys side by side, you guys would probably go for sisters.
Really?
She's Ghanaian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Interesting enough. That's why I started laughing, because when you said Ghana, I was like, this is funny, because that's where I would have placed you. But Ghana is. I personally think that Ghana is probably the best, one of the best transitional countries for anyone visiting the continent.
Okay.
That has never been there.
Okay.
Yeah, because their policies, first of all, they're very friendly to let's say to returning, right, individual, or to members of the diaspora. Let me put it that way, right? Because you can actually live in Ghana, purchase in Ghana property and things like that without being a citizen.
Okay.
Right. As long as you are of African descent, you are welcome there. Yeah, you are very welcome there. Other countries have a little bit of more restrictions, but they also starting to understand the times have changed, so they're adapting their policies accordingly to accommodate them. Being an Angolan, I would definitely say, if you do visit Africa, try Angola too.
Okay.
The language, of course, becomes a barrier, but you have Portuguese blood, so you pick it up just like that.
I didn't learn Portuguese though. My parents had me in Spanish. They had me in French, but I never learned Portuguese, and I was always thinking about it, like I should pick it up.
If you got Spanish, you got a bit of Portuguese. You're not too far from it. I can teach you two words right now. One is thank you, right? Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Yeah. Thank
Obrigado.
you. Right. And de nada.
De nada.
Okay, that means you're welcome.
Oh, de nada is still de nada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
You're welcome.
Obrigado.
Yeah.
De nada.
De nada. Yeah. So now you can and if you want to say good morning, is bon dia.
Bon dia.
Yeah, bon dia.
Bon dia.
Yeah.
Like good.
Good morning, right?
Buenos dias.
Yeah.
Bon dia.
Bon dia.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. So now you can greet people with bon dia and they'll thank you, because you could pass for Angolan too. Yeah, you could. You definitely could, because Angola, Cape Verde, those countries, they have a lot of mixed individuals and it's like, so the diversity in heritage is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, and you're going from anywhere in the world.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, from east to west.
Right.
Yeah, you find them all in there. Yeah.
Angola and Ghana. That's on the list.
Yeah, definitely. And for Angola, just let me know and we can make things happen.
Okay.
Indeed. Fashion.
Yeah.
Styling.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, you went through your discovery process and you finally decided to chop everything and start anew. Yeah. Since then, have you cut your hair again?
Have I cut my hair again? No, I only cut my hair once.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I had cut my hair after I had my children, but I still permed it.
Gotcha.
And then when I cut it in 2016, because I had my children in 2012, 2013, when I cut it in 2016, it was, I'm not permanent.
Gotcha. And
I hadn't cut it again. I was braids, froze. I did faux locks, a lot of the fake locks. And then I remember taking out my last round of the fake locks. And I was just like, let's lock it up.
That's it.
Let's lock it up because it's time, and it's a part of me. And a lot of people, they were already, a lot of my pictures from the past were like these platinum blonde locks. And I got that color on purpose because I wanted people to remember when I got off, say, the girl with the platinum blonde locks. Like, well, I could see her because the light on platinum blonde is just like, psh. So I got that color with that, but I was just like, okay, it was around last year. Was it last year? No, it was the year before last, where I was just like, okay, because now it's been like a year and a half since I've had these. But I was like, I want red.
There you go.
I want red because my aunties were red.
Right.
I'm the same like skin tone as my aunties. When I take off my makeup, I do have the little freckle stuff and everything. So I was like, let me go red. And I remember dyeing my hair red, and my dad saw me the first time. He was like, what? You look like my sisters. Like, what is going on? That is crazy. So, you know, it was funny to see him react. But I was just like, yeah, this feels natural to me to have this now in this area. And then I've always been a gems, rings. I don't have on my ring. My rings are in my purse. My rings, just a lot of bracelets. I used to make bracelets as a child. My mom had this little precious metal thing that I would make my own little charms and stuff like that. So I've always loved any type of gems, crystals, bracelets. I've always been a big flowy dress type person. I love dresses that just flow. But at the same time, I'm very theatrical with what I like to wear too, because some of my stuff, I'll see prints and I'll be like, oh, I really like that. And it was funny because as a child, I was only more so like that when it was time to be on stage.
Okay.
But in my normal, regular life, I really love a good, comfortable outfit with my hair in a ponytail.
Gotcha.
And that was it. My mom would be like, you're not just about to get your hair in a ponytail. Like, you have to do this. You're at the beauty salon. You got to do something.
That's kind of like the Southern thing, right? Southern ladies, they have a different norm of like
getting their hair done and everything. I was getting my hair done every 3 weeks. My mom had me at the beauty salon.
Right.
And then I grew my own nails because I don't like fake nails like that. It makes my nails weak because my nails grow long naturally.
Right.
And I'll go through moments where I'll be like, I'm going to cut them all so they all can grow at the same time. And then, you know, I'll go get my feet done just because that feels good. Yeah. But as far as everything else, I love color. Yeah. I love just everything to be just extra. And I love the color like yellows and oranges and greens and those type of things just make me feel alive when I wear them because those colors do something to my energy. And as much as I love purple, I don't wear it all the time. Like I love looking at purple. I love being surrounded by purple. But the things that I love to wear are more just yellows and
earth
golds
tones.
And it makes me feel like me. So but I'm always open to different fashion. Like I've had different people style me. I've had different people, you know, put different type of styles on me, and I would like to say that the African culture, India, like the bindis and all this stuff, I love those. Those type of they have just their wraps, their fabrics. What else? And then also I would say even Spanish culture because their skirts that they wear are very flowy and they can pick them up and move them around. And I just love that. Like it makes me feel just
free,
glorious and free. Yes, it does.
Free.
It does.
Yeah. So, what is up and coming with Richelle Gemini?
Okay. So I am working on a poetry album right now. and that will be out before August.
Okay.
And it is emails.
Mm.
I wrote the emails poetically.
Okay.
And I lost my job in 2022
Mm-hmm.
from Memorial Hermann
Okay.
because of COVID.
Okay.
And it was a COVID situation.
Oh, boy.
And whenever I lost it, I feel like I entered in fully, full time into my purpose.
Yeah.
And when I was working at the hospital, I worked in a cubicle.
Okay.
And I was just like, man, I guess I'm in a cubicle space of my purpose now. And let me write some emails out. And like one of the emails says, to the Vatican, subject, you almost had us. And then another one is to the colonizers, subject, you know. And then another one is to the women in the industry. And then the subject is accountability. Because I can look at, you know, all kind of different women inside our industry of music and everything and be like, at some point, girl, grow up.
Indeed.
Like, you're 40. Like, what are you arguing on Twitter for with little girls? Like, that it gets to a point where I'm just like, who keep us accountable? And Lauryn Hill, she's about her own life right now. She's not, you know, doing all the things that she needs to do. But at some point, I just feel like my art has to become an accountability piece at the same time. And it's not just that I keep myself accountable inside my stuff as well. So that's what that album will be about. I'm also working on a music album. And that one is consistency. Because that's what this album is, literally the theme of it. Because people have seen me put out projects for years. I have about a good 5 to 6 projects out on all platforms. All different realms. I'm just now getting to the point where I understand more of the business, where I understand more of how to collect my money from, you know, all the projects.
How to monetize it.
Yes, monetize it. How to even discuss getting it synced with movies, TV shows, video games, different stuff like that. And have intention in doing what I'm doing while understanding those things now. So that album is just consistency. Not only that, I am working on making sure I am touring.
There you go.
Out of Houston. That's why I said I have to get out.
Spread those
I want to
wings.
go to the continents. I want to go there. But I know at the same time, I know why I have not traveled because I've been a full mother.
Yeah. Responsibilities.
Responsibilities.
Responsibility.
But now I'm like, okay, I get it. I know where I can go now. I know what I can do. I know how to schedule it out. And I am more than ready.
There you go.
To go bring my art to the world. And I don't want to just be in the United States. Like, I'm serious. I want to go to Angola. I want to perform over there. I want to perform in Ghana. I want to perform in Europe. I want to perform everywhere. So that's where my mental space is, because I feel like I've done everything really that I could do in Houston. And I love Houston. But I gotta fly.
No, it's part of the growth. Right. Eventually, you have to appreciate that growth and take advantage of the opportunities that it is also giving you. And I honestly believe that the continent is not only waiting for it, it needs it. Right. The same way that we needed the continent here. It's like, I mean, Afrobeats today has become what it has become here, and the continent also has become what it has become because of hip hop. Right. It's an interesting journey that at times we don't even think about. There's still that same drum that came initially in various ways, at points even in a slave ship, changed its tone throughout its journey, all the way back to hip hop, and then back to the continent again, and then from the continent back as Afrobeats, right, and now back to the continent again as something. So there's plenty still. It's just we're just witnessing life and development. The cycles of growth. So new projects coming up. Working on it. Collaborations. Are there any collaborations that you, at this point, you think that you definitely, or what would be that ultimate collaboration for Richelle Gemini?
I would say my collaborations right now are more so in film and theater. And that right there, as besides, you know, the producers that I'm working with, in collaborations, I have not really thought to myself. Of course, there's several great women that I don't mind doing songs with, doing different things with, men too, out here. But my focus for collaboration has been in theater and in film. And I have a play that's been out for a while. And it's on Tubi.
It's doing well.
It's doing well.
It's not. You say it so humbly, like, oh, I have a play that has been out. No, you have a good play that is being out and doing well.
Yes, you're right. That's me again, just talking.
But give him the title.
Waiting on the Plug.
Yeah.
Waiting on the Plug. And we just did it at South by Southwest, and it went really well to the point where now they want to take that on tour. And I'm just over here like, okay, that's on tour, but I have to make sure my music is on tour and my poetry's on tour. So right now has been seeds. I've been like, okay, let me put this in here. Okay, what day could we do this? Okay, we got to plan. I'm really planning out my year early. That's what I've been doing, instead of just being like, oh, they want me for a show in 2 weeks, or oh, they want me this week. Oh, they're like, no, things are planned out all the way right now till October. I have stuff planned, so it's a very different space that I'm living in that, especially as a Gemini, because I'm very like so sporadic, like, all right, let's do this.
Free
all right,
flowing.
2 weeks, y'all, we got to do this. Like, so I'm doing my best now to plan things out in general. So, I have that as my collaborative thought process right now. So,
are you still managing yourself?
Actually, no.
Okay.
I'm not still managing myself.
There you go.
And I only didn't give you over to my manager because I already had talked to you before anyway. And I already knew your spirit. So I was just like, no.
Appreciate
everybody else, I just been like, oh, go talk to him.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. So, no, he's not even out here. He's in New York.
There you go.
So I had to get people that weren't out here. That was my main goal when getting management, because I'm just like, who can you introduce me to that I really don't know already?
Indeed.
That's out here. I may not know the person, but I know somebody that know them.
Right.
And I'm 1 degree away from anybody that I want to know out here. So you know.
So got management, good projects coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. Any shout outs or anything special that we may have not talked about that you would like to let you?
Shout out to all my people that help make me me, because there's a lot of people that are behind me, and just like you said, I put my money on you. I have some people that didn't put money on me, and I can only go forward and do the things that I have to do. So shout out to Shanar Butler. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to who else? Shout out to Jeremiah. He helps me a lot. Jeremiah Kelly. He goes by Vet.
Okay.
Shout out to Leo Lavaro. He's the guy working with me in New York. Dominique Zanier. She is my brand marketer. Shout out to Terry Thomas, who is helping consult me in a lot of my structuring. Shout out to my children, who inspire me daily.
There you go.
And I want to say shout out to my friends like Brandy. She's one of the people that like will style me at any moment and be like, girl, I got this dress. I just picked it up. You need to wear this for this, And she does so much stuff in the city too, as far as the skate world. She makes it a whole community. That is a beautiful thing that's blossoming out here. And I really look up to her as a friend. And I think that's it.
And by skate, you mean roller skating?
Roller skating.
Yeah, do you roller skate too?
I can roller skate, but her people know how to dance and do all the tricks and everything. I can go around the whole thing and have fun. Like I can take a picture with them, like
there you go,
and look cute. But I don't know all the tricks.
No tricks.
I don't know all the tricks.
But you get on the skates.
Yeah, I can get on the skates for sure. I can get on those skates. I can get on ice skates just because I've had those as a child. You know, that was a normal fun thing to go outside. I didn't have a tablet. I had roller skates. I had a bike. I had all those things. So yeah.
No, that is definitely great. Listen, I can't say nothing but thank you for accepting our invitation, for coming in and sharing your journey with us. If there is anything that we can ever do to assist you, do not hesitate to do. Consider Diaspora Central Network home for you. If there's anything at any point in time that you think that we can help you promote, don't hesitate to let us know. That we'll definitely do so.
Thank you.
Yeah, and hopefully we can catch you live at some point soon.
Yes.
right here in the city.
Yeah.
And,
I have a show coming up May 4th.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, May 4th. I have a show coming up. We do not let. You can go get the tickets, but you do not find out the actual location. The location is in River Oaks, but you don't find the actual location until 36 hours before, because that's how the people that I do the show through.
How the platform
yes. So far sounds.
Okay.
That's what they are.
So far, but they'll be in River Oaks.
Yes, it'll be in River Oaks.
That's my neighborhood, so I'll be
perfect.
so that's my part of town.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'll definitely look at that, and that's May 4th.
May 4th.
Yeah, and what can people get the tickets from?
They can get it from So Far Sounds. They'll see the actual thing in Houston for May 4th. There's no other show with So Far Sounds in Houston on May 4th except that show. And it's me and 2 other ladies that are going to be in the show as well. It's all 3 of us, and it's going to be a really vibey show.
There you go.
And I might have a release song by then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a first coming. So we may even probably have maybe a sneak peek.
A little sneak peek.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
We like that, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Now your social media?
Social media, Richelle Gemini for everything. RICHELLEGEMINI, Richelle Gemini.
For everything.
On everything. Instagram, Twitter, or X.
That's
what is it? Threads, TikTok,
consistently
around
Richelle Gemini.
the whole thing, Richelle Gemini.
So that baptism really worked.
It did. I can't get away from the name at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to mess with you from this point, I'm gonna call you Richelle Scott.
Hey,
I'm just messing with you.
That's funny.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that unless I was just poking fun.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's been a great pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Indeed, no, quite welcome. And for those of you that took a lot of time out of your busy days to listen to this conversation, I hope you got everything that you could get from it, because in all honesty, it's about being true to yourself. It's about self-discovery. It's about self-love. It's about understanding that unless you matter to you, you will not matter to anybody else. So until next time, remember, you first. Peace.